I was loading the dishwasher after dinner when I heard the knock. 3 hard strikes, no doorbell. The kind of knock that makes your stomach drop before you even know why. I opened the door to 2 uniformed officers, hands resting near their belts, eyes scanning past me into the house. The neighbor across the street had stopped mowing. Another stood on her porch, phone half raised. "We received a call," the older officer said. His nameplate read Garrett. "A welfare check. Your mother reported that you made threats, violent threats, against yourself and others." I didn't understand the words at first. They arrived in the wrong order, like a sentence scrambled by autocorrect. "My mother?" "Yes, ma'am. She said you've been unstable, that she's scared for her safety. We need to come inside." I stepped back. I didn't argue. I didn't ask for a warrant. I let them in because that's what you do when you haven't done anything wrong. Officer Garrett walked through the living room, glancing at the mail on the counter, the clean kitchen, the book open on the couch. His partner checked the bedroom. I stood in my own entryway like a suspect. "Have you made any threats recently?" Garrett asked. "No." "Do you have any weapons in the home?" "No." "Any history of psychiatric treatment?" "No." He wrote something down. I watched his pen move and thought about my brother, about how he'd been saying things lately. Little comments. "You seem stressed. You're overreacting. Are you okay? You don't sound like yourself." I'd thought he was being concerned. Now I wasn't sure. The officers finished their search. They found nothing because there was nothing. Garrett handed me a business card. "You're free to go about your evening, but this report is on file. If we get another call, it'll be taken seriously." They left. The neighbor was still on her porch. She didn't wave. I sat on the couch for 20 minutes before I could move. My hands were shaking. Not from fear, from the wrongness of it, the humiliation, the confusion. I called my mother. No answer. I called again. Straight to voicemail. I texted, "Why did you call the police on me?" Nothing. I tried my brother. He responded within 2 minutes. "Mom's just worried about you. Maybe it's time to get some help." I stared at the message, the phrasing, the calm suggestion, as if I'd been spiraling, and everyone had noticed except me. I scrolled back through our texts. He'd been doing this for weeks. "You sound off. Are you sleeping okay? You're not thinking clearly." I'd brushed it off, thought he was being a decent brother. Now the pattern was obvious. I called my mother from a different number. She picked up. "Why did you—" She hung up. Then she blocked me. I checked Facebook, blocked there too. I sat with my phone in my hand and felt the trap close. If I defended myself, I'd sound paranoid. If I stayed silent, I looked guilty. The police report was real. My mother's accusations were on record, and my brother was playing the concerned sibling, which made me look worse. The next morning, my manager called me into her office. Someone, she wouldn't say who, had contacted HR about a wellness concern. She asked if everything was okay at home. I said yes. She said I could take personal time if I needed it. I thanked her and left. I knew what this was now. I just didn't know why. The call came 3 days later. A number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer. "This is Gerald Pruitt," the voice said. "I'm the estate attorney for your late father's trust. I've been trying to reach you. There's a matter regarding your inheritance that needs immediate attention." I'd known my father left something. He'd died 8 months earlier, sudden heart attack, and the estate had been in probate. I hadn't pushed. My mother was the executor. She'd told me it would take time. "What kind of matter?" I asked. "Your mother has requested documentation indicating you're unable to manage your own affairs. She's cited a recent police report and requested an emergency hearing to transfer your share of the estate into a conservatorship." The air left the room. "She's doing what?" "There's a substantial property involved," Pruitt said carefully. "A commercial lot your father owned outright. It's worth approximately $800,000. The terms of the trust split it evenly between you, your mother, and your brother. But if one party is deemed incompetent, their share defaults to the remaining beneficiaries. 800,000, split 3 ways, unless one party was removed. I thought about the police report, my brother's comments, the coordinated blocking. This wasn't about concern, it was about money. They need me declared incompetent, I said aloud, testing the words. That would be the practical outcome, yes, Pruitt said. I'm required to notify you of any filings. You have the right to contest. I'd suggest you retain counsel immediately. I thanked him, hung up, stared at the wall. My brother had been building a case. You're stressed. You're not thinking clearly. You're acting erratic. He'd been creating a narrative. And my mother had turned that narrative into a legal document the moment she called the police. I wasn't confused anymore. The attorney's office smelled like leather and old paper. Rachel Kemper sat across from me, reading the police report with the same expression I'd seen on a mechanic's face once when he looked under my hood. This is thin, she said. Your mother claims you visited her house and made threats, but you have an alibi? I was at work. I have timesheets. My boss can confirm. She made a note. Good. The report also states you've been increasingly erratic for months. Is there any documented history, medical records, therapy, prescriptions? No. Better. She looked up. They're going to argue you're a danger to yourself or others. That's the threshold for emergency guardianship. Without medical history or prior incidents, their case is weak, but the police report gives them a foothold. How weak? Weak enough that I think they're betting you won't fight. If you roll over, they win by default. If you fight, this gets expensive for everyone. She tapped her pen against the notepad. False police reports are a crime. Filing for guardianship with false evidence could be grounds for sanctions, but proving coordination between your mother and brother is harder. We'd need records, messages, a timeline. I have messages, I said. My brother's been commenting on my mental state for weeks. Save everything, screenshots, backups, cloud storage. I'll also need witness statements, employer records, medical records showing no psychiatric history. This is a paper war. Whoever has better documentation wins. She quoted her retainer. $3,500 up front, hourly after that. I signed. On my way out, she stopped me at the door. One more thing. Fighting your family in court is brutal. It's public. It's slow. And even if you win, you lose something. Make sure you're ready for that. I told her I was. I wasn't sure if that was true. I filed the FOIA request that afternoon. Public records requests take 10 business days in my state. I counted each one. While I waited, I went through my phone. Every text from my brother, saved and screenshotted. I logged into my email and pulled old messages. I opened a spreadsheet and started building a timeline. April 14th. You sound really stressed lately. Everything okay? May 2nd. You're overreacting. Maybe take a step back. May 19th. Are you sure you're thinking clearly? June 3rd. You don't sound like yourself. I cross-referenced the dates with my father's estate filings. The probate hearing was May 10th. My brother's comments started escalating the week after. I contacted my manager and requested a formal letter confirming my employment, attendance, and performance. She didn't ask why. She sent it within an hour. I called my doctor and requested copies of my medical records going back 5 years. No psychiatric diagnoses, no prescriptions for mood stabilizers or antipsychotics. I wasn't sure if that would matter, but Rachel said it would. I reached out to 3 friends and asked if they'd be willing to provide character statements. All 3 said yes. One asked what was going on. I told her I'd explain later. The police report arrived on day 11. I opened the envelope in my car, parked outside the municipal building. My mother's statement claimed I'd shown up at her house on June 8th, agitated and threatening. She said I'd told her I was done playing games and that she wouldn't get away with this. I'd been at work on June 8th. I pulled up my work calendar. I'd been in a meeting from 2 to 4. My manager had been there. 3 coworkers had been there. I had the email invitation with time stamps. My mother had lied, and she'd done it on a police report under penalty of perjury. I sat in the car and let that settle. Then I drove to Rachel's office. The petition arrived by certified mail. Emergency guardianship hearing, petitioners, Linda Harmon and Derek Harmon, my mother and my brother. The court date was 3 weeks out. I scanned the document and sent it to Rachel. She called me within the hour. "They filed," she said. "It's what we expected. They're citing the police report, your brother's testimony, and a pattern of concerning behavior. No medical evidence, no witnesses outside the family. It's circumstantial, but it's enough to get a hearing." What do I need to do? Show up, stay calm, let me handle the questioning. The burden is on them to prove you're incompetent. We just need to show reasonable doubt. 2 days later, my brother posted on Facebook a long, heartfelt message about loving someone who won't accept help. He didn't name me. He didn't have to. The comments filled with sympathy. "You're doing the right thing. This must be so hard. Praying for your family." My aunt called, then my cousin. Both asked if I was okay. Both suggested I talk to someone. I realized they believed him. They believed my mother. I was the villain in a story I hadn't written. I didn't defend myself publicly. I didn't comment on his post. I screenshotted it, saved it, and added it to the file. My brother deleted the post 3 days later, but I still had the screenshots. So did 7 other people who'd sent them to me. The attorney fees were piling up. Rachel's retainer was gone. I was into hourly billing now. My mother and brother had hired someone too. This was going to cost all of us, but they'd started it, and I was going to finish it. Rachel told me to wait. Let them make the first move in court. Let them commit to their story. I didn't wait. I walked into the police station on a Tuesday afternoon and filed a report. False police report. Filing a false statement. Harassment. I brought my evidence, the work calendar, the email invitation, my manager's statement, my coworker's contact information. The officer taking the report was younger than Garrett. He listened, took notes, and told me someone from investigations would follow up. I asked how long that would take. He said it depended. I filed for a restraining order the same day. Harassment, defamation, coordinated campaign to damage my reputation and legal standing. I attached the Facebook post, the text messages, the timeline. The clerk accepted the paperwork without comment. I contacted Adult Protective Services and filed a report suggesting potential financial exploitation of an estate. I didn't know if they'd investigate. I didn't know if it mattered. I was planting seeds. Rachel reviewed everything before I submitted it. She didn't tell me not to. She just said, "You understand, this makes it a war." I told her it already was. The cease and desist letter went to my brother via certified mail. It cited defamation, requested immediate removal of all public statements, and demanded he cease all contact. He didn't respond. He didn't have to. The letter itself was evidence. I wasn't defending anymore. I was prosecuting. And every move I made went into the file. The courtroom was smaller than I expected. Fluorescent lights, wooden benches, a bailiff standing near the door. My mother sat on the left side with my brother and their attorney, a man in his 50s with a briefcase that looked like it cost more than my car. Rachel sat beside me on the right. We didn't speak. The judge was a woman in her 60s, reading glasses perched on her nose. She looked tired. Their attorney went first. He presented the police report. He called my brother to the stand. Derek testified about my erratic behavior, my mood swings, my refusal to acknowledge I needed help. He sounded concerned, genuine, like someone trying to save a sibling from themselves. The attorney asked, "In your opinion, is your sister capable of managing her own affairs?" "I don't think so," Derek said. "I think she's a danger to herself." Rachel didn't cross-examine him yet. She waited. Their attorney called my mother. She testified about the visit, about my threats, about fearing for her safety. She cried. The judge handed her a tissue. When it was Rachel's turn, she stood slowly. She didn't raise her voice. "Mrs. Harmon, you stated my client visited you on June 8th. Is that correct?" "Yes." "What time?" "Around 3 in the afternoon." "And she was agitated? Threatening?" "Yes." Rachel placed a document on the table. "Your Honor, this is my client's work schedule for June 8th. She was in a meeting from 2 to 4 p.m. Her supervisor and 3 coworkers have provided sworn statements confirming her presence." My mother's attorney stood. "Objection!" The judge held up a hand. "I'll allow it." Rachel continued, "Mrs. Harmon, is it possible you were mistaken about the date?" "No." "Is it possible you were mistaken about the visit?" "No, she was there." Rachel placed another document down. "This is a timeline of text messages between the petitioner, Derek Harmon, and my client. The messages show a pattern of suggesting she's unstable, not thinking clearly, and needs help. These messages began 1 week after the probate hearing for the estate of my client's late father." The judge leaned forward. "Counselor, where are you going with this?" "Your Honor, the petitioners stand to gain $400,000 each if my client is declared incompetent. The police report was filed 3 days after she was notified of her inheritance. This is not a welfare check. This is financial manipulation." The room went silent. My mother's attorney stood again, but the judge waved him down. She looked at my mother. "Mrs. Harmon, are you aware of the penalties for filing a false police report?" My mother didn't answer. The hearing didn't end there. The judge ordered a continuance. She ordered a psychological evaluation. She ordered both sides to submit additional evidence. But the skepticism was there. I could see it in the way she looked at my mother. Rachel didn't say anything as we left the courtroom, but I saw the small nod she gave me. We weren't done, but we were winning. The detective's name was Posner. He called me 4 weeks after I filed the report. He asked if I could come in for an interview. I brought Rachel. Posner was methodical. He asked about the June 8th visit. I gave him the work records. He asked about the threats. I told him I'd never made any. He asked about my relationship with my mother. I told him the truth. It had been fine until the inheritance. He asked about my brother. I showed him the text messages, the Facebook post, the timeline. He didn't react, but he took notes. "We've interviewed your mother," he said. "She's maintaining her statement, but there are inconsistencies. The timeline doesn't match. We're continuing to investigate." 3 weeks later, I received a call from the prosecutor's office. They were filing charges, misdemeanor false report. My mother would be arraigned in 30 days. The court-ordered psychological evaluation came back the same week. No evidence of mental illness, no evidence of incompetence. Fully capable of managing my own affairs. I read the report twice, then I put it in the file. Rachel called that evening. "The guardianship petition is dead. The judge won't proceed without evidence. They'll withdraw it or she'll dismiss it. Either way, you're clear." I thanked her, hung up, sat in the quiet. I'd won, but I didn't feel victorious. I felt exhausted. The truth spread slowly. My aunt called first. She'd heard about the charges. She apologized, said she should have asked more questions. My cousin called next. She'd seen the court documents. She didn't apologize. She just said, "I didn't know." Some family members didn't call at all. They deleted me from social media, quietly, without explanation. I let them go. My brother's Facebook post was gone, but the screenshots circulated anyway. People talked. At family gatherings I wasn't invited to. In group chats I wasn't part of. The story shifted. I wasn't the unstable one anymore. I was the victim. My mother's reputation fractured. She stopped going to church, stopped attending family events. I didn't take satisfaction in that. I just noticed it. The attorney fees had cost me $12,000. My mother and brother had spent more. They'd gained nothing. I didn't gloat. I didn't post about it. When neighbors asked, I showed them the court order dismissing the guardianship petition. I let the documents speak. Some people still didn't believe me. One neighbor told me she didn't want to get involved. Another said, there are always two sides. I didn't argue. I just noted who said what. The community's opinion didn't repair itself. It just shifted. Some people apologized. Some people avoided me. Some people acted like nothing had happened. I accepted all of it because I didn't need their validation anymore. The settlement came 3 months after the guardianship petition was dismissed. My mother pled no contest to the false report charge. She received probation, a fine, and a suspended sentence. If she stayed out of trouble for a year, the conviction would be sealed. The restraining order was granted, 1 year, renewable. My mother and brother were prohibited from contacting me directly or through third parties. Rachel sent a demand letter to their attorney. Defamation, legal fees, emotional distress. She asked for $30,000. They countered with $15,000. We settled at $22,000. It barely covered my attorney fees, but it was a matter of principle. The settlement included a written apology. Public or private, my choice. I chose private. I didn't need a performance. I needed documentation. The inheritance was finalized. The property sold for $790,000. I received my third, $263,000 minus taxes and fees. I deposited it and didn't tell anyone. My mother and brother received their shares too. I assume they paid their attorney with it. The estate was closed, the trust dissolved. We would never have to speak again, and we didn't. I don't talk to my mother. I don't talk to my brother. I handle everything through Rachel's office. When the restraining order expires, I'll renew it. When estate documents need signing, I'll do it via notary. Some family relationships survived. My aunt and I talk once a month. My cousin invited me to her wedding. I went. It was fine. Other relationships are gone. Permanently. I don't mourn them. They chose sides, and I respect their choice by staying away. I see a therapist every other week. Not because I'm unstable, because I'm processing what it means to be betrayed by the people who raised you. We don't talk about forgiveness. We talk about boundaries. My neighbors eventually stopped whispering. It took 6 months. Now they wave. Some of them, anyway. I keep meticulous records, every email, every document, every interaction. If my mother or brother ever try again, I'll be ready. That vigilance is exhausting, but it's necessary. The legal battle cost me more than money. It cost me the illusion that family is unconditional. That was a hard lesson, but it was an honest one. I won, but I also lost, and I've made peace with both. It's been almost a year now. I got a text last month from a number I didn't recognize. I just want to talk. I didn't respond. I forwarded it to Rachel. She documented it as a restraining order violation. I don't know if anything came of it. I didn't follow up. A week later, a letter arrived. No return address. My mother's handwriting. I didn't open it. I took a photo, documented the postmark, and filed it. I don't need closure from them. I don't need an explanation. I already know what happened. They wanted money. They were willing to destroy me to get it. They failed. I used part of the inheritance to buy a small house. Nothing extravagant, just mine. I planted a garden in the back. Tomatoes, basil, flowers I can't remember the names of. It's quiet. I think about what my brother said sometimes. You're not thinking clearly. You're unstable. You need help. He was wrong, but he was also right about one thing. I wasn't the person he expected me to be. I didn't collapse. I didn't beg. I didn't believe the story he tried to write about me. That's what he called crazy, having boundaries, refusing to be erased. I've learned that family isn't who you're born to. It's who stays when the truth gets ugly. It's who asks questions instead of making assumptions. It's who believes you when you say, I didn't do that. My mother and brother aren't family anymore. They're legal entities I interact with through attorneys. That's not sad. That's just accurate. I'm not the same person I was a year ago. I'm quieter, more careful. I don't assume good intentions. I document everything. I trust fewer people. But I'm still here. I'm still standing, and I know exactly what I'm worth. They called me crazy for refusing to disappear. Turns out, sanity was knowing I deserved to stay.